This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And with the wonderful holiday that is over, now it's time to deal with debt. Perhaps you've made a New Year's resolution involving this topic, but don't know where to start. This morning, we have invited Jeff Romine, partner with the Financial Planners of Missouri, to give us some pointers. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So I feel like this is a very important topic. One, even if it's not your New Year's resolution, there's a lot of people out there that are in debt and don't know where to start, or maybe feel like they're so knee-high deep that they can never get out of debt. So first of all, what would you recommend our viewers? How would they be able to deal with it? What do you have to say to them?
Well, the very first thing I say is that try hard to not ever get into debt, except for perhaps a house or student loan. And if you can't handle your debt, you should feel some regret and have a resolve to be different. And I don't mean beat yourself up, but I just mean develop resolve, an internal strength and discipline, and then be different. Debt can lead to a lot of problems. It can lead to tension, depression, loss of sleep, excess worry and stress, family fights, and financial problems are a leading contributor to divorces. So it's a little different, but everybody has got to get it under control.
So for those that maybe don't have enough discipline, or like I said, just feel like there's so much debt piling up, what can they do in this situation?
Well, some individuals need to take a good hard look at themselves and actually go see a lawyer and declare bankruptcy. Others need to think about credit counseling, and that might be an option. But whatever happens, you have to find that internal strength, and where you make meaningful and lasting changes, and they must start with a person. And most importantly, if your spouse is a spender, or if your partner is a spender, you have to engage in discussions with that person, and you have to work together as a team.
All right. So now, what are some other suggestions or any other actions that you would suggest to help get us out of debt?
Well, I would specifically say you might consider taking your credit cards and getting rid of all of them except one. And that one particular card is only going to be for emergencies. And then you use a debit card for all your purchases. And you start saying no to dinners and lunches out. You forget about expensive cell phones and technology. And if you must have a pet, delay that pet. And do not go out for your entertainment. Buy used automobiles, and consider shopping in thrift stores for your clothes. And again, talk with your spouse. Make sure that together you change your behavior and that you work together. The bottom line is, do not under any circumstance spend more than you take in.
Right. So I feel like with these pointers, a lot has to do with like you said, get rid of all your credit cards, but keep one for emergency only. But a lot of it, and it's really easy, maybe easier said than done, to change your habits. Instead of going out to eat 5 days a week, maybe do it once a week or something like that. Bring your lunch to work. Don't have to go to the movie every weekend with your friends or whatever it may be. Make it, once or once a year, or, and those are like baby steps, but you're saying you'll be able to start seeing a significant change in that.
That's right. It's the collection of all those baby steps that makes an enormous difference.
All right.
And yes, absolutely right. And entertain at home, and just do anything you can to keep your cash in your pocket.
Okay, so we just talked about changing your habit. Now, what are some other ways that somebody can do to help pay off their debt?
Well, if you want to pay off your debt, first off, you have to understand that you have in the past spent more than you make, and now for a period of time you've got to save enough up to retire your debt. The first thing you need to do is make a list of all your consumer debt, and and then at that time list that debt in a couple different ways. You have to develop a strategy, and you can make a list of that debt from the smallest to the largest, or you could list the items by the size of their interest rate, from largest interest rate to the smallest interest rate. Psychologically, I think taking on the smallest makes you feel good when you get rid of the debt, and you keep cascading into the next larger items. But economically, attacking the biggest interest rate items is the quickest way to reduce your interest paid. Whichever approach, what you have to do is have that internal resolve to pay off that debt. And then as you start paying it off, you accumulate the amounts and keep attacking the next one on your list. And
Okay, and really quickly, because we are running out of time, what can somebody do if they need that extra cash?
well, if you need extra cash, first off, the very first thing you might need to do is go find another job, or perhaps add work where you do work, and and also you might go speak with family members, or you might be able to transfer the balance of a large credit card balance to a high interest from a high interest rate to a low interest rate card. Or you might be able to obtain a low interest home equity loan that's not such a high, does not have such a high interest. One approach you may use is to speak to your creditors and try and renegotiate your debt. If you have life insurance, you might be able to borrow against a life insurance policy, or and have a low interest rate. And an option I don't like, but might be something to consider, is borrow against your own 401k. And these efforts will work in the short term, but and which may allow you to get out of a bad spot and get your act together.
All right. So, and we also do have some pointers to help keep yourself out of debt, but we are running out of time. So what we'll do is we'll post everything on our website at heartlandconnection.com, and we'll also link up information to get in contact with you if they have any other last-minute questions. Thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on.
Glad to. Good luck.
And we'll be right back.